Murugara, followed by Eva Bara, and then followed by Madam Ombaka.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me also to rise and support this bill, a very important bill we debate today. And I begin by thanking the Honorable Daniel Sitati Wanyama, the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture. Daniel Sitati is not known for many things, but he's a very good sportsman, and he has a famous handshake, which most of us try to avoid as much as we can because we know him for that. He's also a great sports person.
What's your point of order? The MP for, is it Mwingi West? Proceed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I just want to inform my colleague, Honorable Murugara, that Daniel Wanyama is a well-known volleyballer who was the captain of Kenya team during the Olympics, and he's famous for sports because I have done many relay sports, especially Yala games, and he is well known in Parliament for representing Kenya, not only in Kenyan Parliament, but also across East Africa, Mr. Speaker. So I think Daniel Wanyama is a well-known person with many personalities.
The chair is going to allow your compliments, but that's not a point of order. Proceed, Brugara. But the compliments, I'm sure, are well taken by Daniel.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Parliament
Speaker.
is happy that one of their own has an image outside.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Brugara.
And thank you very much, Honorable Charles Guna, CNN, for that unsolicited information, because I didn't solicit for it. But thank you very much. Charles Nguna is from Mwingi West, which is not far from Tharaka. In between lies the vast Mwingi North constituency. Then you cross Tana River into Tharaka. I was just giving accolades to the chairperson of the Committee on Sports and Culture, because he's known for several things, the topmost being a great sports person in this republic. And then he has the famous handshake, which not many of the parliamentarians here wish to come into contact with it. But excellent job done here to bring this bill, which is supposed to make a distinction between the Kenya National Library Services and the public libraries, which are found in the rural areas, which are manned by counties. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, first and foremost to just give a briefing of what happened yesterday in my constituency, Tharaka, because I think it's vitally important and connected to what we are debating today. A community library was commissioned at a place known as Gatunga, which is in the Tharaka North sub-county of Tharaka constituency. It is a community library and IT center through the efforts of a lady in Tharaka who does lots of community work known as Anseta Kiriga. She has an organization known as Tharaka Women Welfare Projects. And I was ably represented by my office manager when the USAID, the mission director is Mr. David Gosner, who came over to commission this, accompanied by another gentleman known as Dr. Onesmus Kiminza. He's the director of Sisters Read. I believe this is an organization that also deals with libraries. Yesterday, I was able to donate more than 3,500 books donated to me by a gentleman by the name Douglas Mugendi from Tharaka Nithi. He has an international NGO known as Solidarity International Trust, and therefore he does this charitable work, for which I'm grateful. I'm grateful to USAID and the Sisters Read and the lady Anseta Kiriga, because this is what we are debating today. Let me also register my thanks to the Kenya National Library Services Board, which is going to be the precursor of what we are debating today, for promising to donate to me 3,500 books, which I'll be taking to this library. This is the first library in the Tharaka constituency. We do not even have public libraries. When we want to do library matters or get library services, we have to go all the way to Meru town, because this is where we find one library service, which used to be under the Kenya National Library Service, but now must be under the county government of Meru, having inherited it from the national government. Library services are actually devolved, most of it, especially public libraries. And it is important to point out that our counties have not done much regarding public libraries. We want to see a lot more being done, as happened in Tharaka. I haven't heard of the commitments the county government made when they visited the place yesterday to attend this commissioning, but I expect to hear from them that they are also part and parcel of founding libraries in the rural areas so that we are able to encourage our people to read. We cannot claim to be literate. We cannot claim to be knowledgeable unless the population of the country does rise in terms of literacy. A literate society is a developed society. So we are debating a very important act of parliament, which I urge my colleagues to actually pass. Honorable Wanyama has made an indication that we will be making amendments to this. We will be studying that with him in the committee of the whole house. We give him the support he deserves so that we make this act as important as we can. Kenya is a country known world over for many, many attributes. Most of them are firsts, whether these are in cultural matters, some are in sports, some are in other spheres and avenues. Kenya is known for this. And documentation is limited, which is the reason we require this act to be put in place, to be passed by this house, so that we are able to look at our literacy through libraries. And libraries are not custodians of books only. Our arts, our culture is going to be stored in libraries. And this is why I'm proud to have the first one in Tharaka, because we are also known for our culture, which is vast. We are also known for our arts, including the carvings, which are also famous in Ukambani. We are very good in carvings and doing traditional weapons and what have you. All this is worth being placed in a library where future generations can actually get knowledge of how it used to be even then. Because we are not saying the only education that we should actually be emphasizing on is the Western education. We must also preserve the African education. Much of it is oral from time to time, from generation to generation. However, today we are able to document and record those oral histories into books, which books we can use, which books our future generation can use, and we do not lose what is African. Remember, since the colonialist came, we were made to believe that our culture was primitive. Everything we did was just primitive and they needed to be discarded with. Whether it was our music, no idea why they were saying our music was primitive. Whether it was our form of education, they were saying, sorry, that does not qualify to be called an education. Whether it was our culture, including our dress, and all that, they told us it was not worth keeping. But look at the Maasai who were able to resist this. Today, they are celebrated world over. You talk about Kenya, and people will tell you Kenya is known for two things, or three things. Let me be frank. The first one is it has excellent wildlife. That goes without gainsay. It has a culture that is preserved through the Maasai. And thirdly, we have sports. Great sportsmen, athletes, name them. They are found in the Republic of Kenya, and those are accolades to actually our chair, Departmental Committee on Culture and Sports, because it contributes immensely into that. If we do not document all this, what is going to happen to us? We will be lost. In the case Swahili, they say, if you lose your culture, you become a slave. So surely we do not want to become slaves to the rest of the world. Let us encourage the culture of having libraries. And especially now that these libraries are devolved, and we have county governments that are spread across the Republic, let libraries go down even up to villages so that people are able to access books, people are able to access cultural practices, and everything else that is beneficial to us. This is a very important act of parliament. It has various provisions. I urge the members to go through, including the fact that it now takes over from the Kenya National Library Service Board. The board is now beginning to be integral part of the act, while the services will be rendered under this act. Those very many remarks, I beg to support.
The Honorable Eva Barra.